Epilogue. And so ends the story. And so it was that the scavenger from New Appaloosa, a pony who once would have watched the world burn for a moment of safety, gave his life so that the remnants of Equestria might yet live. I, Watcher, saw a pony who chose to rise above the person he was. He chose to better himself in every way he could, not for his own sake, but for the sake of those around him. Friends, love, virtues he discovered within himself, and virtues he followed to the grave. His soul was perhaps even worthy of the task I had long sought to fulfill, but it was not destined to be. No. That fate would belong to others. 3 weeks after Scrap Heap's death, the stable dweller would go on to defeat the goddess as the security mare looked on. Her death freed the spirit of Twilight Sparkle, who used her final moments to both bring comfort to her jailer and to save the life of the stable dweller herself. Twilight would, in turn, be granted the gift of a friend's final moment, bringing about a long-desired reconciliation that allowed the Ministry Mare and the former Bearer of Magic to slip away into the abyss in perfect peace. I wish I had been there for her. A week after, the Single Pegasus Project would be activated. The world saved from both the Grand Pegasus Enclave and, in time, the wasteland itself. After the formation of the NCR and the detonation of the Elements of Harmony, the Changelings became a close ally to the New Canterlot Republic for all the centuries following Scrap Heap's death. They at long last had a place among the other species of Equus. Cobalt would return to Ten Pony Tower, rising to prominence among the members of the Twilight Society. He would continue to work towards unlocking the secrets left behind by his idol, Twilight Sparkle. He would pursue such secrets for the rest of his life, never able to fully unlock them all. Xena would settle down in the Hive, determined to follow in her love's memory and ensure the Hive's survival in the difficult days ahead. She would become their guardian against any who would threaten the safety of the Hive, fighting later in the Battle of the Hoof upon the security mare's call. The Changelings would survive these events as they had all others, flourishing under the Zenkori mare's watchful eyes. The survivors of our town would be split into 2 groups. A few would attempt to acclimate into various settlements, eventually seeking help in removing their false cutie marks and mental shackles that Starlight Glimmer had placed upon them. They all eventually found their way to the followers of the Apocalypse, who would go on to find a way to remove the marks and help them discover their own unique talents. The rest wandered out into the wastes, lost without their prophet. They would form a raider band together, attempting to restart our town by full-napping a large group of ponies from a nearby settlement. This action was met with force, and the Equality Raiders were quickly wiped out to the last. Crossroads was attacked again during Operation Cauterize, but the small Enclave force was not prepared for Springhaze's fierce protection and fiery second form. Before they could send a larger group to take Crossroads, they were brought down by the Lightbringer. Crossroads then fell under NCR protection as they worked to begin rebuilding Van Hoover and clearing it of all threats. During this time, Springhaze departed to parts unknown to find more of his kind, starting with the remnants of Stable 76. Ruby worked as a barkeep at Crossroads, and eventually Van Hoover in general for the rest of her life. Stonemane and his wife were sadly killed when the Enclave destroyed Friendship City, but Charm was taken to safety by a security officer and left an orphan. She later joined the Followers of the Apocalypse, working under the tutelage of Velvet Remedy and learning the ideology of kindness. One day she hopes to do for some pony else what ponies like the Scavenger and the security officer did for her. Star Paladin McRoar and Scribe Roland would go on to be among those in the Van Hoover Steel Rangers to join up with the Applejacks Rangers and Elder Steelhooves during the days following his meeting with the Scavenger. Most would be decimated in the Civil War when the Enclave arrived, with the survivors splintering and becoming the Wolves for higher security for Stable 9, or, like McRoar and Rollin, join other chapters. They would serve the Applejacks Rangers diligently for many years to come. Ditzy Doo would have a fated meeting with the Stable Dweller but a day after her meeting with Scrap Heap. They would become fast friends, the two sharing many adventures that included the bubbly ghoul adopting a child of her own. Upon learning the fate of the Scavenger, Ditzy was left feeling guilty at having sent him unknowingly to his doom, and yet a sense of pride about what he accomplished before the end came. Calamity's story after the chance meeting with the Scavenger was one of heroics, heartbreak, and love. His deeds with the Stable Dweller would be studied by historians in the eras to follow, a hero in his own right. And so ends the story of the Scavenger. A pony who went from a mere lonely wanderer of the wastes to one who gave his life for the good of all, following the example of friends upon his doing so. His story would become overshadowed by that of other, more far-reaching heroes. But the Hive would never forget. And his name would always be in the books of history, if one were to look. But even his contributions and that of many others could never change one inescapable truth. One I have observed again and again, through century after century. It is as constant as the magic of friendship itself, always at odds with it, always an eternal struggle that could either bring the salvation of ponykind or its doom. And that is war. Because war never changes.